Yeah, you're gonna count us down on the transitions, though, right? Yeah, yeah.
They
Right.
can hear everything
Yeah.
on the stream right now, by the way.
Uh-oh. Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Monday Night Lights here at the Canadian College League. Rainbow Six Siege fans all over the world, my name is Zach Vexel. Joining me here on the desk is Patrick Smoke. How are we doing today?
Oh man, I cannot wait. St. Clair Saints versus Queens. It's going to be quite the matchup. You know, I've been following CCO over the past couple of weeks, and I must say, Zach, I'm very impressed with what I've heard so far. I can't wait to hop on this cast with you. We're going to have a fun night.
Gonna have an absolutely fun night indeed. You said it yourself. The #1 seed, the giant St. Clair Saints, taking on the #6 seed Queens Gaels. But I gotta be honest, Patrick, we're only 3 weeks in. It's anybody's game, anybody's night. We got a long season ahead of us, and I mean, we gotta get it started right. Checking out these rosters, though, for these teams, a lot of, solid players. You say you've been following this St. Clair's team. Give me some of your insights on them.
Right. Well, I mean, someone who follows the St. Clair roster, they are just absolutely lethal. You have people on the side like Swifted. He's really my guy to watch if you want to look at top performers on the side of St. Clair. I mean, honestly, he's just an absolutely great player in all forms. You want to talk about game sense, aim, just everything in general. Especially on the attacking side, he's really someone who can just kind of take a round and just make it his own. And that's such a big deal when we talk about a game like Siege, where in most maps, everything is usually defensive sided. When you have that hero player like Swifted on your lineup, any round is winnable. And just knowing that is a huge confidence boost for the entire team in general.
Not only being a big fragger on the side, right, paired up next to Terror, but also being the IGL, that kind of in-game leader out there on the field. Having someone like that directing the flow of your game can make a massive difference, because this is the person who not only has the confidence that it can be done, but has the confidence that they know they can make sure that the calls they're making can get done themselves. So keep your eyes on out for Swifted, Terror, and the entirety of the St. Clair Saints roster. However, let's take over a look at the Queens Gaels themselves. We got a heated little group over here and led by Disciple.
Yeah, and again, I haven't really seen anything of this Queens roster, so
Yeah,
I'm really excited to see what they have to offer. Again, there's probably not a bigger test than this St. Clair roster to go up against first, so it's going to be interesting to see when thrown into hot water, how are Queens going to be able to adapt and swim.
Absolutely. And word on the street is frogs. I've heard a few things about frogs. Keep your eyes on frogs. Kind of the contestable top fragger over there for the Queens Gaels roster. Someone who's good at getting around the map and making sure, landing her shots. It's kind of a key thing when you're talking about Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, absolutely, right? And I mean, when you have someone like that on the roster, like I said, it just, the game could completely turn on its head. And I think that for St. Clair, they're going to have to watch out for players like that on the side of Queens. They, again, sometimes St. Clair, sometimes I've seen they do a little bit of trolling. Again, I don't think you're going to get away with doing too much of that against some of the more top competition of this league. However, I will say that I think Queens is also one of those teams that could definitely pull an upset.
Upsets? We kind of mentioned already. Any given, Monday, in this instance, whoever shows up to play is going to be the one walking away happy. And,
Absolutely.
What better way to do it, though, than when we look at some of these, the map picks, when we glance on over there and notice a very striking key point right there is our first map that we are going to be going to is Skyscraper, picked by the Queens Gaels, one of St. Clair's least favored maps.
Yeah, again, Skyscraper, one of St. Clair's least favorite maps. I do know this, the fact that the decider is also border is a little bit scary. Again, I think that St. Clair is also a really good border team, but we'll see. Queens obviously picks it. They have something up their sleeve. I do really think the weirdest thing to me is the St. Clair ban on Clubhouse. They're such a good club team. So either they know that Queens are either A, really, really good at Clubhouse, or B, that they just have something as a counter. They think that maybe Queens has an ace up their sleeve. But the third option, and honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, the most common thing that I can put my mind to is just because Clubhouse is such a common map. All of these players have been playing Clubhouse for the past 7 years. Everybody knows what everyone's going to do, so it just comes down to really who can make the play at the end of the day. St. Clair seeing that, I think they ban it because they want to make Queens feel a little bit uncomfortable. Bring them to a map like Cafe, where not a lot of teams have a strong Cafe, especially in North America, right? So it's going to be a little bit interesting to see how this one goes, but as I see it, I could totally see this one going to 3 maps because I haven't seen St. Clair play on Skyscraper for maybe a little short of a year. And even then, I believe they were playing Butler. I don't know if I'm getting that right or wrong, but all I do know is that the last time I did see St. Clair play Sky, they definitely lost that matchup. So again, it's going to be very interesting, and I really do like the first map pick, at least for from Queens there.
I think it's going to be really interesting too, and I feel like it's going to challenge St. Clair. When we do look at St. Clair, some of their favorite maps, like you were talking about with Border, Clubhouse, these are very setup-oriented defender style on maps. However, it feels like Skyscraper's that more fast-paced action. Let's go, let's get in there, let's run and gun, kind of favors the attacking side. And I mean, with Queen's Gale taking the offense in game number 1 right out of the gate, it's going to be exciting. Let's talk about the operators though, because I think that's going to be the key factor in this. If they want this running gun style, get out of that 20-second meta that people have been kind of just sinking their claws into, what are some operators we need to look at?
Well, especially on a map like Skyscraper, where it's again attacker favored. One of the biggest operators right now in the meta that I think will change whether she gets banned or not in the ban phase is Ying. I think Ying is going to be a huge person to pick here on Sky attack if she doesn't get banned out. And again, I think of another person who is going to have such an impact with Skyscraper, especially with all the soft walls and the floors, is Deimos. I think Deimos is such a strong operator to confirm around. When you do have that intel, you can kind of sit back, not get too aggressive with him in the start, but then you can really confirm around in the end. He's a great option to roam clear against Skyscraper. Such a roam heavy map. You really do need to have a big roam presence on Sky if you want to be successful, especially below if you want to secure those top floors and maybe plant denial. So again, Deimos is someone who can really draw these defenders out of those key positions and just switch it up, make the defense feel weird. And I think that's why Skyscraper is such a great map on attack, especially paired with the operators that we have now on the attacking side that are available if not banned out properly.
Yeah, I think you said it very clear right there. You know, that roam clear, the roam, it's so essential in a map that's really feels like it's divided into 2 large chunks of map, okay? I mean, we have house side, we have restaurant side, and you got to make sure you're controlling both if you want to really maintain that kind of defense. You never know when somebody's just going to slip around, come up behind you, probably a vigil. It happens in my games. Maybe a cavi if you're not careful. She ends up getting you down and interrogating you. And now your whole team's getting mad at you for identifying all their locations.
Going solo, you're not getting traded out.
Come on, man. You're just playing twos. Have somebody refrag it. You know, I've heard it all the time. And I'm not even in these higher rank lobbies that some of these players are in. And I like you that you touched on the Deimos. I'm going to be honest. Since Deimos release, I don't think I've actually played on Skyscraper. I'm curious to see how Deimos plays into this kind of map that offers such a roam heavy. Because in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, Jackal over there, he can go around and follow the footsteps. That's pretty cool, you know.
Right.
Maybe if you're over on defense, we're throwing out Valk cameras to just keep an eye on everybody and see where they're rotating in from or where the push is coming from. So these are kind of like my senses, but I really like what you said. And, you know, I'm going to tailor this back to cast last week, okay? Bianca was all over the Monty pick. What do you think about something like that here?
I saw that. So again, Monty is a great operator. Probably one of the, honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say it, one of the best in the game if you just have an amazing IGL who can make clear comms and just have confidence to know when to push and especially when to get aggressive. Again, on Montang, sometimes people just, you know, you see the defaults who just put up the extended shield and they just kind of sit there and they don't really do anything. With that Monty, you know, again, really great players, the way they make that Monty great is if they can find ways to create space with that free with the free sight line that is guaranteed without being able to get shot, right? So again, seeing how teams work around it is one thing. Seeing teams excel with it is another.
Absolutely. I mean, I've seen it myself time and time again when you have not only just a team who's confident in a Monty, but a player who's just confident behind that shield and knows that his team has his back. Yeah. You know, the amount of information you can provide from just sitting and slowly just inching your way towards the enemy team, and they're trying to throw everything they can at you. They're like, get away, and you're like, I'm coming in closer. Jaws music playing in the background just over their ears. It's getting louder and louder as your team is roam clearing and closing in on the site as the Monty is just pushing up and getting warmer. And I love that kind of play style. I'm kind of leaning towards seeing a ban kind of like that when we were talking about Swifted a little bit earlier, being this IGL, being this big fragger. You know, if there's that confidence on the field where, you know what, actually, I'm going to actually flip this. I'm going to see over for Queen's Gales, okay? Where you have someone like Frogs who's got the more according to Queen's Game, I'm going to say the better gun, I'm going to say, and Disciple being the IGL, having somebody who's like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to say I'm not confident in my gun skills, but we know we have a big fragger on our team. Utilize them to move around, and I'm going to provide them the information. I'm going to provide them what they need to know to get closer, to knock down the enemy team, to whittle away at their utility, close in on site, and get that win.
Right. I mean, looking at the players to watch, I mean, honestly, such two good players in their own right. But really, check out Jox. He was the St. Clair MVP for last year's regular season. The immediate thing that just screams and sticks out to me is the entry rate. I mean, 71%. That is absolutely absurd. The fact that 70% of the round you're looking at being up to a 5v4 advantage at the very least. And I mean, honestly, it's just so beautiful to see if you're on the side of St. Clair, having someone like Jox who can just guarantee you that, almost guarantee you that first pick, at least for 71% of the time, is an unbelievable feat that the team can kind of work off of. Touching on Disciple as well, the fact that he mains someone like Smoke on the defense, someone who, again, plays more for time burn and utility waste, and especially plant denial. And the fact that, yes, the Ash as well on the offense, he's really done a good job there on the KD. A lot of smoke players you don't usually see with that positive KD because getting picks isn't necessarily the main job. It's really more about just playing around what the offense gives you and seeing how you can kind of slow them down through that. So really impressive there from Disciple. And again, on the smoke, it's going to be interesting to see, especially with Jox also having the Montang on attack, at least mains listed here, how that smoke can maybe delay that Monty, cut off sight lines, and maybe, you know, slow down that push just a little bit. It's able to burn some time to get the comms out there to know where people from St. Clair are taking space. See how Queens work around that when it comes to these maps.
Here we are talking about the Monty. Now we have Jox flashing it right in front of us. One of their best picks, and Disciple sitting there with probably one of the best counters to Monty with that smoke.
Absolutely.
It's so... I mean, it can't be understated. If you've been playing Rainbow Six Siege, even just a couple matches, if you've seen these two operators in the same game, you know it doesn't feel good to be sitting behind the shield and all of a sudden you got that smoke getting thrown at you, you're running out, probably getting shot in the back because you can't move fast enough or you're taking way too much damage. Now, let's look over at the standings. Let's see where these teams are positioned. St. Clair, like we mentioned a little bit earlier, sitting up there at that number 1 seed, 3-0, but week 3, okay? Here we are now, week 4, okay? Still very early in this season. Queens with that 1-2 record, a little bit lower, but like we mentioned, any given Monday, whatever day it may be.
I mean, you know what, man? Look, at the end of the day, it's Rainbow Six Siege. This is one of the most unpredictable games that you can really call because literally, as you said before, anything can happen. Look, it's a new game. It's a new week. You know, you can't really take, when we're talking about players of this caliber, you can't really take anything predetermined and run with it. Again, it'll be interesting to see as we head into the ban phase. It's going to be Queens, it's going to be St. Clair, it's going to be Skyscraper. Let's get right into things with the first ban coming out.
Let's see. It is that Ying. Absolutely. Look at that. It's like you're in their heads. Knowing that Ying is off the board is going to be so nice for the push. I'm sorry, for the defense, I should say. If you're St. Clair, you're sitting pretty, hopefully hoping to coast out these early rounds, knowing that this isn't really a favorite map. You're not in a favored position, being that Queens is the one who's making all the calls here. They do ban out the Maverick. This is an interesting. You and I both sound kind of surprised right there.
Yeah, well, I will say, I saw St. Clair, I believe when they were playing against Windsor in the CCL, they brought out the Maverick and the Glass Strat, so I wonder if maybe on that, like, Geisha single wall, or maybe on, like, that office wall, if, you know, maybe Queens thinks that the Mav is going to, you know, come through, who knows, right? But again, with the Fenrir ban, I really support this as well. Fenrir is a great operator right now currently, and there's not a lot of really things that can lure a Fenrir out into open space. Because in order to do that, you have to expose yourself to his gadgets. And I mean, it's just a horrible day. It's a long day if you do that.
I kind of look at the Fenrir as the defensive Ying, okay? You're pushing in with the Ying, you're throwing the flashes, you're blinding everybody in there. With the Fenrir, you know, I think the Fenrir is a massive counter to the 20-second meta that we've seen where we're ticking down to the final 20 seconds. Offense is like, go, 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 get in there, rush on in. And bam, we're blind. We can't see anything. And that is one of the most miserable feelings, I feel, because now you're just getting shot left and right. The lights are turned off from you. You have no clue where anything is coming from. Spray and pray. and really lean into the prey part. Here we are, though, jumping on into round number 1 on Skyscraper. St. Clair on the defense. Queens making the calls. It looks like we will be over on restaurant side on that second floor.
Yeah, and you know, the number one thing I want to point out right now is from that ban phase, that Deimos and Monty, both available. Like, they could run them. But right now, on the side of Queens, choosing and opting not to do so. Funny that the Blackbeard actually gets picked out. Not someone who I would assume, at least you see a whole lot of, but I'm gonna assume it's because of the fact that they can just sit him up on that karaoke window, and he can just kind of sit there and kind of just take space. So it'll be interesting to see how St. Clair play around this pick from Queens. Let's get right into things, as now the switches come in, the Buck, the Brava as well, and I love the Brava pick when we talk about the Malusis, right? The Malusi gadgets, the cat can traps,
yes.
right? I mean, there's nothing funnier than just seeing a person on the defense just run into their own Capcan trap and
Nice
die
defaults.
for it when a Brava is on the other side. So let's see how Queens enters the map. It seems like first they are going to try to go on this Expo display take. Let's see what happens. And I want to really look at Terror, who's just kind of sitting outside. I don't really understand why on the East balcony he's just kind of sitting there. A little bit of a greedy play, and not a great one for St. Clair. On the Azami, a time-dependent operator who's going to get more Kiba barriers as she lives on longer. So again, from Terror, to me, an error in play, and a huge mistake early from the Saints.
Okay, pre-fire, or you just knew he was there? One of the two. One thing I can say for certain is, obviously with the Izami poking their head out, they pinged all 5 members, I do believe, on that opening ping. Was it a bait to just go for this pre-fire, expecting somebody to be looking for this kind of peek out? All evened out now as Kinger ends up finding the Nitro on the Disciple. We are evened back out. No man advantage, but take a look at the HPs of our offense. Queens has seen better days with that. You mentioned the Brava, the Ash off the board now. And when I saw the Ash, the Buck, I'm like, cool, we're running and gunning. We're getting in there. The Blackbeard, like you mentioned, getting our heads on the windows. A really quick push coming in from Queens, trying to get themselves positioned in the map.
And that nade should be able to take out the deployable shield right now. So that's a great job from the Blackbeard, I believe. And now it's going to be Corey peeking in and out of Catwalk. Has another man coming up on drums, but Swifted's going to make quick work of Sunday. And he's going to be able to alleviate Corey up from that position. And now Corey can just peel back.
3 to 4, getting down to that 60-second mark. But Queens is gaining some ground here on the map, which is exactly what the Capcan. The Capcan. The Capcan.
I mean, Corey swings it!
It doesn't matter. You can't finish the kill, Corey. You're off the board.
Oh, man. I mean, it's a little bit of a weird one. I think with 49 seconds left, right, you take the fact that you have man advantage. You don't have to swing out on these. You can just kind of peel back as defenders and make the offense come to you. You know that guy's going to be on 20 health is how I treat that situation. Corey's a little bit greedy, and he pays for it.
30 seconds left on the clock. Time is ticking down. It's a 3 versus 3, and it's gonna have to rush on in. Queens needs to find the Swifted. Let me tell you, finds Barbarell. Oh my God! And Kinger ends up finding Frogs off the board. 1 versus 3. It all comes down to Blue. Are they gonna be able to find all 3 members? Get the clean up, the smoke, the mute on 5. It doesn't matter. Jox gets it. The opening round going to St. Clair.
Right, I mean, just from short haul peeking into drum is Jox. I'm in a great angle there, as I guess the attacker really, if you look at it from his POV, can't really see too much of Jox's head there. The drum just blocks just enough to the point where Jox has all of the advantage on that angle. St. Clair playing a very risky round, I'm gonna be honest. Not a big fan of the Azami dying immediately, and I won't lie. Corey, you know, on another day, maybe he gets that pick, but this round, it just was not meant to be. I think I actually kind of liked what Queens did up until they kind of got just stuck on that catwalk and drums area. They didn't really have anything to really move defenders out of position, but I think the really round-changing play there was when Corey was almost going to get picked off from drum from a player in Queens, and Swifted was just able to peek him from short haul and get rid of him. The call wasn't made. Swifted was able to really just get into a position, lurk around, and he was able to make a play.
Absolutely going on in now to round 2, switching sides over to the house second floor. You know, we love our second floors over here in Rainbow Six Siege. Put us up, they can't get above us. And You know, I'm seeing that Capcan come on in again. We're seeing the Lucy again. I kind of almost the exact same lineup. Swap in the Kaid. Do you think, obviously, we're going to play a little bit safer on the Azami this time around, but the Capcan I really like because, you know, we as gamers, we don't look up, we don't look down. Oh, I saw that. I was about
to... Sorry, I'm about to cut you off.
No, you're right. I mean, the opening damage coming on through, Spawn Peak's got to watch for those, and that's just pretty standard stuff, you know, in Rainbow Six Siege, don't you say?
Yeah, I mean, immediately having your ace down to one shot, not very ideal, especially when this Kaid and Mute are on the board. Again, the Mute's probably just more for, again, blocking drones so intel can't be gained, especially when you have a Kaid, there's no really point in using it on a wall. Again, especially when you have a Thatcher on the board on the side of Queens. But what I will say is I think that that's a huge part now that is going to impact this push from Queens not having basically another gun up, because if you're ace, you can't really just be peeking anything right now. You're on one shot, you gotta play it safe. It is going to be Kinger who goes down first, though. Disciple gone, and make that two. Disciple picking up a double for his efforts. A great job there, clearing out some roamers down below.
Man, how did he... I get getting the first one, but man, it just seemed like the second wasn't even looking in his direction. It was just a quick one for... Well, I'm sorry, I can't even say 1 for 2. 2 for nothing. Absolutely free for the offense. Queens now with a 2-man advantage. We are halfway through the ground. Sunday finding Corey Robb. 5 versus 2. Knocking down defaults. Closing in on site. And a very healthy Queens posturing for this game too.
Right, I mean... Wow, as Jox gets the pick onto the stairs, it is going to be Terror who swings back around. Coming from house lobby, he's going to be able to pick off one. Going through the stairs, he's going to find a second for his efforts as well. No way! St. Clair has this retake. There's no shot. 14 health on the ace as well. Thatcher going for the plant right now, and he just has to stick. It is going to be St. Clair who do not have a C4 or impacts in pocket, so they'll just have to kind of sit this one out. Quick peeking around the door. It's going to be Jox with that kick as well. An amazing job. He scalps the Queens player, and now dancing around the site. It is going to be the composure, but Jox! Quick peeks through, finds the kill on the table, and it's going to be St. Clair with yet another round. The retake being done. St. Clair, are you kidding me? Pulling out some magic early.
St. Clair showing why they are the #1 seed right out of the
that's
gate.
So toxic.
Lost sight a little bit, but they made their way right on back. They resecured sight, I should say, and were able to burn out that diffuser, taking us on into round 3. Now your 2 upstairs sites are off the board. Where are you going to go?
Right, well, I mean, do you take that tertiary bomb site? It feels like it's going to be St. Clair who does want to do that. They're not going to opt to do their karaoke or their museum or slash expo, but they're actually going to go ahead and choose Barbecue Kitchen, not a site that we see very often. It's going to be interesting to see now with that tertiary bomb site being picked. How does St. Clair play this one? I won't lie, the last time I casted St. Clair on Sky, they definitely didn't choose this bomb site, so this is a first for pretty much all of us. It's going to be interesting to see how they play around it.
And these downstairs sites, I feel like on Skyscraper especially too, you really need to be cognizant of the second floor. And so far, St. Clair has been doing a really good job of doing that. But, you know, with how much of a roam heavy map we were talking about before, now also having to worry about this entire floor getting ripped open. I mean, Queens has already been picking the Ash and the Buck, you know. In my head, I'm like, ooh, I love Ram. Let me just tear up the entire floor. We're not going to see that, but we do see the Sledge getting brought into the roster by Frogs. And, I mean, that's as good as tear up a floor as you can get.
Right, I mean, the Sledge is going to be a great pick here. What I really want to see is how, again, with only 1 Nitro, I believe, with the Warden being in pocket, how do they counter out this vertical play? I guess you're going to have to just hope that your roamers can sit in these power positions, namely probably sitting somewhere in Geisha or Drums to kind of counter this out. But it's going to be interesting to see, and I really like how you were mentioning the Jackal earlier. Even in the previous round, I think the Jackal was a great pick. Again, I think St. Clair just getting away with hero plays. It's going to be a C4 that comes out, but it's not going to do anything. Disciple with a first pick onto Kinger, and a great one at that. There goes the Mute off the board.
Absolutely free. A second one, absolutely free. Look at the HP bars of Queens. Only 2 points of damage. Okay, I opened my mouth a little bit too soon. Disciple and Sunday as well get knocked on down out of here. Disciple ends up finding Terror. Jox finishes off Sunday, but there are only 2 members of St. Clair's defense remaining. We saw this in the last round, though. It didn't matter, okay? St. Clair was just built differently. Jox was just built differently, okay? 2 minutes remaining on the clock. A 4 versus 2 situation.
Right, and I mean, with 1:45 left, like you said, they can just take their time right now, work the vertical, make St. Clair. There's no way that just happened. I'm sorry.
Gamers don't look down.
Yeah, look, that has to be droned out. And now, St. Clair, they're going to take all the spoils and run laughing to the bank. Corey Rob with a double on red stairs through with the SMG-12. Are you kidding me, Corey? What a play. St. Clair back in the swing of things.
You know, I kind of think back to the very first round with the Capcan trap went off and immediately St. Clair went for the swing to go and finish off the kill. You can kind of tailor it to that. They want that finish. You know, here somebody gets knocked down in the frost mat. You want that. You know it happened. Your team's like, ooh, I got to get the pick, man. I got to go for it. Sure enough, they go for it. Drop on the hatch. Diffuser going down. It's Frogs going for the plant. 60 seconds left on the clock. Disciple chilling out over the head. Jock still very healthy, lurking around. Has to get the cleanup. Has to find the member both upstairs and down. And hey, that's a very nice deployable shield. Don't mind if I just watch the bomb from here.
No
and
way.
Jox finds Disciple. 1 member remaining. Jox versus Frogs.
I mean, the fact that he was able to get away with that is absolutely criminal. And now, Jox, it's going to be such a hard position. Do you have a vert on the sledge? You really don't. He's going to take this hatch drop, the prone! But no! Frogs able to react. A great shot through the wood. And a great job by Frogs to just stay calm, hold his position. The deployable shield working against the Saints. I love the positioning there from Frogs on the sledge. And I gotta say, in a post-plant scenario in a 1v2, Queens played that almost about as good as they could, right? You got the Ash on the vertical, right? You need someone up top there. You can't just leave that for the defender to retake. So at least it burns some time, makes Jox, even after he gets that pick, have to rush. There's not a lot of time, right, on that clock left. He needs to make a play. Can't really think of anything else to do than drop the hatch, and it really results in a 50-50 gunfight that was extremely favored to the attacking side.
You know, it's a couple early picks for Queens, but it's also just the quick take of that second floor. We mentioned it at the start of the round. You need to make sure you're holding that second floor, because as soon as you lose that, it just feels like the world is coming crumbling down. We were very fortunate that that frost mat ended up doing what it did, and Corey ended up swinging and finding himself a double kill. But at the same time, you don't want to be in those kinds of situations. You need to make sure you're holding that upstairs. You need to make sure you're holding the map. Yeah, I would say the big thing is Queens did a phenomenal job at just taking map pressure. And I think if they keep that up, you know, it's 1-2 right now in the rounds.
Right, I mean, I think that Queens right now, what I'm loving is just how aggressive they are. They're not scared of St. Clair. Yeah, these guys are first up so far on the CCL leaderboard. But like you said earlier, man, we just 3 weeks in. We just getting started. So again, you never know, right? Like nothing's tried and true just yet. So again, I love that Queens is just willing to take the fight to St. Clair. And their lineups are just extremely aggressive. We're seeing the Sledge, the Ash, the Buck, multiple times the Jackal. They are not afraid to really get their hands dirty and try to clear out these roamers. And it's kind of just turned into a little bit of a barn burner in the beginning. You really can't predict it if it goes St. Clair or Queens' way, and I'm loving it.
Seems like we're changing up from the watch the hole to a go for the run out. Good attempt there from, I believe it was Terror. Wanted to find a little bit of a cheeky pick. Instead, it's going to be Disciple. The look away finds Swifted. Do we see the refrag as Disciple ends up receiving some fire a little bit off the door? That's okay. Falling back is the defense of St. Clair, except for Kinger. Down goes Kinger. Disciple, another one in the pocket.
Right, I mean, Disciple's just taking souls left and right. The fact that he's able to just hop and display there is absolutely criminal. However, he's going to get his head shredded off by Corey Rob. And now Corey, looking at that shrine window, you wonder, is this really going to come into fruition on the side of St. Clair? Are they going to just play it slow? Again, I wouldn't really recommend getting aggressive. With 1:40 left, there's lots of time. You surely don't want to be giving up yet another pick and being down by 2 men here. In a situation where you still have your Azami up, you can just play behind these Kibas as they come through and just kind of peel back, take a little bit of ground and just peel back slowly and slowly, wasting util. It's going to be interesting to see what St. Clair does, but is it going to be the second time? The question being, if Queens gets stuck on this catwalk drum side.
Play it nice and slow, utilize as much utility as you have, and you do have a lot of it. The Warden, a great gunfighter, able to immune himself from all those flashes, honestly. It's gonna be nice, but Frogs is gonna find Corey Robb. And look at that. Well, Jocks found Sunday. Okay, this is going to be the back and forth that Taylor's oldest time, Sledge versus Azami. We're going to hold you off for only about a half a second. 3 versus 2. Make it 3 versus 1 as Blue finds Terror. 45 seconds left. Oh man, Jocks get it. Jocks finds it. Gabriel off the board.
You know about the rotate though from Geisha. I don't think he believes he knows about the Sledge's position. He's going to swing this rotate and the Sledge should have an easy pick. There it is. However, the injure's going to come through. Jocks with a 50-50 gunfight and he's on a triple right now, going absolutely ballistic. Right now, the dance between the hallways on short hall from the ace, and I was gonna repeat the breach! And Jocks with a masterclass in repositioning after gunfights, taking your angle progressions one by one. He chooses everything perfectly, and it's an absolute round that St. Clair should not have had. Jocks with a hero play. He puts another one up on the board for the Saints.
Okay, is Jocks like in their comms, in their heads? What is it? We have a 10-1 Jocks. Somebody's got to put him down, okay? He can't keep getting away with this. This is 2 rounds now out of 5. It's not a lot, but why did it happen twice, right? Like, this is the question that's in all of our heads.
Oh, man. I mean,
Jocks is putting up the numbies.
Yeah, you doing numbers right now. That's all I'm saying, right? I mean, 10-1. There's not really words to describe it. You're just witnessing a great player making great plays. And again, you can sit here and say like, oh, you know, you could really criticize Queens or whatnot. You could in a 1vx scenario. But I think in this case scenario, you gotta not focus on that. I think Queens played again that round absolutely brilliantly up until the 1vx happened. And I think this is just
okay, can you say it right? It's the Jocks VX.
Yeah, Jocks VX, right? I mean, I think this is just what happens when you just have a player of this caliber who's just having a day. I think Jocks is just having a day right now, and he's just on cloud 9. Like, no one's stopping him right now. It's got to be Queens to find the answer, and you got to think, if they know he's playing the Warden, the IQ coming out, when those glasses go on, do you think they're going to try to track him maybe through that wall, and the Soulless as well? So again, multiple operators being countered out here from this potential IQ pick. I really love it from Queens. Let's see if it pays out for them.
There's actually a lot this IQ can really do. I actually, like you said, I love this IQ pick here.
Yeah, I mean, the bandit boxes, the cap can traps, it's great.
Literally everything, yeah.
Even the Mozzie cams, right? So...
Did you know how phenomenal your pick was? I'm interested to see the Soulless. I'm going to be honest, this is the first time I've seen the Soulless getting played since the major hit. Oh yeah, they brutalized this girl right here. And I'm curious, Corey, show me what you got. I love the pick still. I still got a phenomenal weapon. That's always great. A lot of operators come into play because of their guns. That's cool. But you need to have that utility on your side as well. 16 seconds off the clock already, though, Smoke.
Yeah, again, this round moving quick. And this was a punch hole, actually, that we saw played, like, on the first round. So I'm very surprised that Swifted's going to go back to it, but he's not going to find anything. He almost did. And wow, that is an absolutely horrendous first pick on the side of Queens to have go against them. The IQ being taken out, the run-out as well, not going to be found. However, the refrag comes in. The Saints trading blow for blow, except it seems like, honestly, it's not even necessarily a trade. There's only been 1 killed. How have St. Clair gotten away with this? The run-outs, the aggression, it's utter tyranny. And right now, they're just laughing all the way to the bank. All of a sudden, the gridlock... yeah, all of a sudden, the gridlock just watches all 4 of her teammates just evaporate around her.
So, the 20-second meta is supposed to happen in the last 20 seconds, right? Not like halfway through the round?
Not the first one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious. Good night, Gabriel. Swifted is here. You know what? Honestly, St. Clair is here. That is another one up on the board. We are 1-4. St. Clair is looking to put away the defense half. Round number 6. This is gonna do it for him.
Right, I mean, I think I know what's gonna, if I could call what's gonna go on with Queens or what has been going on with Queens, it's just simply they're having a tough time dealing with St. Clair's aggression somehow coming from the defense. You would think in a game like Siege, like, hold on, wait, Wait, no, you can't do that. You can't swap the roles on us like this. So far they have. St. Clair has been so aggressive, and yes, sometimes early round it has come to bite them in the behind, but it seems like they're able to really think they can get away with it, because so far they have been able to. Even when they get down that man advantage, it's really been Jox who's been able to just play his life and come away with some hero plays, and I wonder if they're just kind of trying to get into Queens' heads. And I wonder if they already have, honestly, just based off of the fact that they're just not stopping. They're saying, we can do this and get away with it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Right now, other than Disciple, really, no other players from Queens have really made these Saints pay for playing so risky in the first 20 seconds.
You know, I think you said very well right there, is that St. Clair is putting themselves out there knowing that they can get away with stuff like this. I mean, you look back in round number 1 when the Azami is poking her head out the door looking for a nice cheeky pick, and then immediately following it up in the a round later where she's doing a full-on run out. Like, okay, you know what, I won't just hold this, I'm just gonna run out altogether. And then again, immediate run out. It's just spawn peak, I think, on round 2. They're just trying to see what they can get away with and how well they can eat away at, well, I mean, Queens' HP bars, Queens' members, Queens' mental, whatever it may be. They're playing like right into their strategy, which it just seems like aggression all the way. And you said it very well. Queens is trying to play the aggressive end. It's just not working right now. And I can't say it's just not working. They have that victory on the downstairs, which we are back at now. This could be their time to close the half at 2-4.
Right, I mean, regardless right now, you're looking at losing on the attacking side. Skyscraper, like we said, an attacking favored map. And because you have the Deimos and the Monty still available on the attack, I'm really surprised that we haven't seen this Monty pick come out. A great way to counter this aggression would be to just have someone who's able to get a free sightline. Disciple, he's going to get a free pick on Corey from Catwalk. Is he aware, though, of the Mute playing close with the shotgun on half wall? The Mute going to swing out, and he's going to take the life of Disciple. It is Kinger. And a great job so far from the Saints, playing for trades, and they're going to find themselves on a 4v3 advantage.
4 versus 3. We are halfway through the round. Oh, the close. Holding the pixel angle is going to get the down. Does not get the finish. He's going to back on up. No reason to run on in. Let him bleed out. See what you can bait on out. The pre-fire was so close right there.
I mean,
oh man, I love the spectator view seeing that kind of stuff. It's just a pixel right there. Or you just see somebody stop right before the bullet trail. Swifted finding the double is able to knock down Frogs. Queens with only 2 members left on the board. Are they going to get the pickup on the Mute before the end of the round? To find out next week. The Canadian Collegiate League. Yeah.
Right, I mean, you think it's taking so long, but again, you can't really move in because right now they're holding angles, the crosses, the head holes. They have every cross almost like perfectly planned out. So the second any Queens member tries to take any ground, they're ready to take the engagement that favors the defender. It's a great job on defense from St. Clair. And honestly, I think that's the perfect way to play Sky defense. We were just talking about this. Again, look, the Monty, the Deimos, the Blitz.
God.
This is what I feel
they're
like.
Going in.
I mean, honestly, this is what is going to tear Queens apart. They're just, you would think, okay, we've seen this for now 6 rounds straight, aggressive on the defense. Oh man, you'd think they're going to be, you know, maybe tone it down just a tad on the offense. You know, they know it's attacker side, and maybe they really like, you know, try to play this one slow, see what they can get on the attack, maybe get a pick on the... No, absolutely not. Full send it straight to the house. I mean, if this lineup sticks, this might be one of the most fun rounds of Siege I've casted so far. And honestly, looking back on the defensive side for St. Clair and the attacking side for Queens, I don't know why this Monty and Deimos wasn't used earlier. I feel like, again, like I was saying, shield ops are a great way to counter aggressive defenses because you can just get a guy in there for free without having to have him die, right? He can just call out what he's seeing, call out positions, and call out utility without having to sacrifice potentially his life. So, again, it's a great job so far from St. Clair to realize they're not doing this. We're just going to keep on going for it. And Queens, they have a lot to make up right now. However, with the sides flipped, you never know what's in store.
Okay, hear me out. Swap out the Thermite, get the fuse in there, get his shield, we're going in. Deimos is there to just spot somebody, and then you blow open a hole with the Ash, and you are just running in. Absolutely, full send, triple shield, just go for it. I mean, I feel like that's what we're about to see anyway. It's just cool we have a little bit of hard wall breach just in case we really need it. I bet if we're Queens, if they know what's coming, they're going to be a little bit trembling. But play it smart, play it safe, play collected, and that is how you're going to be able to breach this offense, this onslaught. But Swifted finds the opening pick onto Sunday. Let's see how long it takes for St. Clair to push in.
And I mean, man, I see that Deimos has the Wamai scanned out. It's actually going to be the Alibi dying, but now the Blitz and the Monty are both gone! Babril being able to take out both shield ops and now Disciple making the Deimos fall. It seems that St. Clair, with their aggressive picks, has not come into fruition this time. And it's going to be Terror who plays with it, who pays with it, my fault, with his life, let alone the rest of the St. Clair roster. A great response and a great round from Queens. Great bounce back. And that's exactly what they need to do more of.
Okay, lads. Now, if we're St. Clair, we're taking a step back. We're going, okay, we had our funny one. let's recollect, go back into this next
now the
game.
fuse shield comes out.
Yes, now the fuse shield. You know, that's what the problem was. There was no third shield, and you know, I'm seeing it now. Absolutely, it wasn't. Never mind. We're going again. Run it back. Run it back.
I mean, this is amazing. I mean,
it's not the
you
compass,
can see
the
from
execution.
you can see from my Discord profile, I'm an SSG fan for Siege, right? I mean, sorry for any SSG haters, but I just am. This just reminds me. Okay, there we go. The shields are actually swapping out. Okay, they were just trolling us a little bit on the cast.
Come on.
Yeah, you know what, guys? Man, y'all just some babies. Come
absolutely.
on, bro. You guys gotta
you commit. If you're gonna do it, commit.
Commit to the bit. No, in all honesty, I feel like that would have just been the epitome of, like, Force on Space Station, just re-picking Blitz after it just clearly didn't work, and they just didn't have any other answers. So now, St. Clair, they are going to change stuff up. They're going to actually opt to get rid of the Deimos as well for the Nomad. So a way safer lineup, honestly, in terms of, I guess, what looks to be more of kind of a slow engagement poke offense, if you can even call it that, right? I mean, we'll see how St. Clair plays around this. They could become even more aggressive than last round, and it wouldn't even surprise me at this point. But, like I said, the round could play any way, which way, shape, or form. It's going to be interesting to see what St. Clair does here.
Well, 15 seconds in. We got a whole round to go. It is 2-5 here in round number 8. St. Clair is chilling pretty well, I would say. You know, with that nice 3-round advantage.
Yeah.
So far, they're taking this one nice and slow. Looks like they are going to go for a breach on the hard wall, and that one should get open, no problem. And it does. Now, with the wall open, St. Clair has line of sights inside. They're already inside as well. Way. And Disciple, though, through the floor is going to be able to knock down Terror. Frogs find Swifted. Corey Rob finishes off Sunday. Nice little 1-for-2 trade out of the gate.
I was going to say, is the player going to peek this from Queens? Yes, it is going to be Corey to find another one. And don't tell me that this person is just going to swing from Dragon. I believe Corey already has an idea. He might just be baiting for the swing here with the repel noise. But it won't come, as I believe it is going to be the Wamai, who might have been on cams or just sitting in the corner. He knows, okay, I can't really peek this. Let's be honest here. I got to play my life, especially in the 3v3 with 1:38 left. But here comes the main take on the wall. This is where things will sort of spice up a little bit more. Let's see how the Doc deals with the pressure. I just believe he's actually going to be Jox who hops through display. There's no way this works. One pick through the display. St. Clair just going absolutely wild. They spot the pick on, they spot the sightline onto the Doc as well, so they know the position, and they know where the last one is as well. Corey's going to be able to find that pick onto the Wamai through Dragon anyway. And now it's just looking all St. Clair. Plant going down. There's nothing that this Doc can do. The cross is being watched. And St. Clair are going to run away with yet another round that's sparked from just absolute aggression.
It's a nice slow, let's whittle away at something, but I can't even say it was nice and slow because St. Clair just pushed in. They took first floor control. It's that verticality that they took. And yeah, it didn't really play out in their favor, but when you're opening up every single wall upstairs, what you're doing really is dividing the attention of the defense. You know, you're splitting them. Okay, so you got to watch the half wall over on one end. You got to watch the main breach over on the other end. You got to watch out for Corey Rob, who's just sitting over the ledge, picking off our team because we were picking him. You know, it felt like the cards were going into St. Clair's hands simply because we're just dividing the attention and we're just attacking from every single angle. And, you know, Queens did their best to handle it. It just, St. Clair's just managing what they want better. They're trying to tease us again. I see that blitz. I see the blitz. You can't fool me.
No, I mean, I will say, I think what I'm seeing out of St. Clair is just simply the ability off of intel that you have to be a gap taker. I think Jox has just been doing this the entire time, at least from the last round. they just sit, right? They get the slow picks from Corey. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest start to the round. I believe the Cade and the Wamai downstairs, or was it the Doc, were able to find 2 immediately to make it a 5v3. But again, we've seen this before. I mean, it's going to be so misleading. We're probably going to look at this and see Queens with like a 90% entry rate, right, on first pick, and yet St. Clair is winning this game 6-2. You're going to see that stat and immediately think, oh, this game was probably a little more Queens-sided. And then you're going to see the score and just say, wait, hold the phone. What just happened?
Queens was just getting so aggressive throughout the entire first half, I should say, and now even here in the second half. Swifted gets the opening one on to Disciple. That Deimos just putting in work. We're not even 30 seconds in for that one. Alrighty, it seems though that we're in match point. Okay? It kind of comes down to this one. Queens needs every single one to tie us on up, to take us on into overtime. And with one member off the board already, I'm sure they're already trying to figure out how they want to approach this. Main breach now getting popped.
And Swifted with a double. I mean, they just cannot stop him this round with the Deimos on the pistol. I mean, honestly, Deimos is such a great operator. You just track a person and then you whip out that secondary and you almost become just like Han Solo. I mean, right now, Swifted showing off his skills on that Deimos pick. An operator that I really love to see him on. He's so aggressive and yet takes gaps so well on Deimos. And that's what I think is going to happen on the side of Queens, is they're going to be able to find the Jaeger to take a gap as well. And now that's going to be the Thermite injured, down but not out. You wonder, the double kill coming in from Sunday, have a round, and right now he's just immediately been able to put Queens right back into this thing.
We still have half the round to go, but you said it, right back into this thing. Queens can hold on for another 1 minute and 13 seconds, 12 seconds, time ticking down. They can definitely do it and take us on in to the next match point. And Frogs is gonna find Jocks. The kill leader for St. Clair is off the board. 60 seconds left, and Queens is having momentum.
Right, I mean, right now, if you're Queens, you just gotta play safe. I wouldn't necessarily think that peeking anything would be a good idea, but it's gonna be Frogs to make me eat my own words and prove me wrong. Tear able to find one now, but he isn't able to look up and see the head of Frogs, who has an elevated position onto Expo. It's a great job there looking through the dragon door from Frogs, a great angle, and one that you guys should keep in track of at home if you want to rank up in Siege, because that is a disgusting angle there from Frogs.
I think I play a little bit too off-site too much to use that kind of angle, but I will keep that one in mind. Knowing on my own,
if you're an
my
anchor
own
player,
aggressive.
you know? What
Here's the thing, is when I became an anchor player, no, you're fine. When I became an anchor player, my team was like, yeah, we need to hold down sight. And so I picked Clash, and I opened every wall on site. I opened every wall on site, okay? They're trying to barricade, I open it. They try to barricade that wall, I open it. And they're like, what are you doing? And I said, well, if I'm gonna be on site, I'm gonna make site how I want it, okay?
Right,
and they were like, fair enough.
There you go, you can't really argue that. What I was gonna be getting at is the fact that for anchor players, I feel like what I love about Siege is no matter where you play, especially when you view Siege at this high of a level, I feel like you always learn something new, right? I mean, that's just something that I find, especially when I'm watching like Pro League, I always learn something new every single time. It's why I love this game. And honestly, Frog, shout out to you, man, because a lot of people probably had no idea that was even an angle. And now, you know, you see it, it's like, oh, wow, nice. So, I mean, that's why we love this game. That's why we love casting it. Let's get right back into things. Queen's bouncing back that round. 6-3, still on match point. And man, Corey didn't bait us out this time. Kinger with the Amaru as well. They're going to definitely do this off the Finka Surge. And it seems like St. Clair, they're just going to start mounting up the aggression again.
This is the kind of run and gun I was expecting a little bit more, though. No Monty, but the Blitz, the Finka, the Amaru. You know, let's blow it open with the Ash, and let's just run on in there. You guys are being kind of slow, though. 30 seconds already off the board. I was expected every wall open. I expected kills flying.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
If you're playing Amaru and you're not just yeeting yourself into sight within the first 5 seconds of the round, are you really playing Amaru? You know, we got to ask ourselves these questions.
Right, I mean, for those at home who don't understand, we're definitely actually just trolling. Mario does have to wait for intel to come in, for those who don't know. So that's why they're just waiting. Swifted, gonna be the first one who pops this window open and probably starts the attack. I really think it's interesting how you play around the Grim, though. Grim is such a good operator when it comes to the execute. but the execute's going to come so early. I mean, I really wonder how they're going to make this work. Are they going to maybe have the hive launchers maybe go onto those stairs just so they can try to delay any pushes or any, retakes that come through? I mean, right now the blitz is going to be down in Geisha. I mean, this is just absolute pandemonium. Picks going back and forth. Trades. Kinger with one. Frogs with one. Josh with one. Disciple with one as well. I mean, so far, I gotta say, with no Ash, no Amaru, and no Blitz, everything is turning up Queen's way.
A quick little, 2 for 4 as Frogs finds himself a triple. Frogs finds themselves another quad. Am I correct in that statement?
I believe you are. I mean,
I believe I am.
Regardless,
Either way, Frogs is on fire.
It's just absolutely disgusting. The crouch peek onto the karaoke window. I mean, that is not a defender-favored gunfight there, and yet he makes it work. A great job. I mean, Frogs, honestly, so far it was only looking like the player on Queens that was really turning up was Disciple, but right now it seems like they've definitely revamped on defense, and honestly, really just reversed map, in my opinion. You would have thought the attacking side would have been a lot more favored. And yeah, Disciple, have back at them in all chat. I mean, what were they doing there? Just letting Frogs pick them apart one by one. It's a great job from Frogs, and honestly, one that I would not be surprised if we start seeing on the plays of the week later.
Well, we're still seeing that aggression team comp come in, although they swapped off the Monte UTs. Going back to that Deimos on Swifted, I actually really liked this pick a little bit earlier. It was able to find a couple opening picks, 2 I do believe, but like you mentioned, Queens is really starting to collect themselves. We can call those earlier rounds warm-up rounds, right? If they end up taking this one all the way. It is 4-6, though. It is still match point. And there is my anchor character. Give the Lord his throne back. Tachanka is here.
Right, I mean, I really wonder how this is going to play out because, again, with that Shumika launcher, it's a great job at, I guess, delaying the push, right? And maybe what this Tachanka is going to do is if they play the Tachanka upstairs, I wonder if they're just going to try to delay the time it takes for the Deimos and especially the Ram to start creating that vert. I mean, you never really know what the idea is because the defenders won't be able to see who the attackers are playing until later in the round, obviously.
Creating rotation hole.
Creating rotation hole is going to be what happens, and he's not going to do very much more. Corey with the first pick on possibly one of the bigger roles on this defense in what would have been the the execute denial. I mean, that's an absolutely crazy loss to take firsthand. And St. Clair, right now, if you were to make a round prediction, that one might spell game.
Well, 60 seconds off. We do have some thorns lurking around. If St. Clair likes to look for that quick push in, they might find themselves on the back end of a little bit of a thorn trap. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, down goes Sunday. Okay, so 2 members of the defense now off the board. St. Clair pushing on and getting aggressive. They do have that Ram brought up. They're going to tear up the entire ceiling above site. And this is a difficult one to hold. This is the offsite. That first floor, that kitchen. I mean, let's be honest, Queens pushed in and were able to walk away with a victory on it themselves. But now here on the defense, can they say the same? A minute and a half left on the clock, halfway through the round, and it does look like the Wamai is down. Frog soon to fall. Babriel is gone. Terror finds themselves one. Terror finding a double kill. Frogs gone. Flawless round as Jocks finishes up. Blue and map number 1 goes to Queens.
Right, I mean, like I said,
Clair.
After, sorry, and again, yeah, don't worry. Hey, it's fine. It's fine. No one heard that.
Warm
No
up
one heard
round.
it. He said the Saints, and he got the call absolutely correct. No one attacked my man in chat. I will say, I think that last round there went kind of the way I predicted after, right? I mean, the Tachanka falls, and there's nothing really that can be done about the execute. There's no one who's able to delay time. So after that first pick, right, I mean, they see the Thorn rotate through Geisha, and because Terra's just sitting on the back stairs, or that hallway, he's able to just get that call immediately, and he knows, I have this guy's exit out of the vert. So if a second I take this pick, vert is ours, there's no one to stop any push, right? I mean, it's all signals shooting for green light means go for St. Clair after those first 2 picks. They do it brilliantly, and they take Queen's map right out of their hands.
Absolutely. And Queens, they came out so aggressive. You and I are both agree, and I'm sure everybody in chat can agree. The aggression coming out of Queens, just finding every single pick, and it just felt like Jox was just a thorn in the side in those first few rounds on the defense for St. Clair. And I'm gonna be honest, Jox kind of like, cool, you did very well on the defense, and then all of a sudden, things started to pit around. I'm not saying Jox, was falling off the map, but everybody else from St. Clair started to bring it back up and like, okay, we all got to play our part, we all got to play our role, and Queens at the same time was like, cool, now it's our turn. Frogs finding picks, Sunday finding picks, Blue it was just left and right. Everybody just kind of bringing it together. Right there at the end, it felt like, what I said a little bit, that warm-up game. Get that warm-up game off.
Right. I mean, honestly, the thing I take away there, shout out to Queens for making that a close map, despite really what I would say is a very annoying St. Clair lineup or a play style that we saw there to deal with. I mean, that was the way St. Clair was playing. I definitely know, especially like, the little like, pokes of fun in chat and everything. They were completely trying to get into Queens' head there on their map. And again, I think that I actually really got to say, Queens did a great job of standing up to them. It's just a tough call that it just didn't happen a little bit earlier. If they were able to catch these things out from St. Clair a little bit earlier in the game, I think this would have potentially been able to go to OT. And you just, you never know, right? So you can't call OT. So
Absolutely.
again, I got to give Queens credit there for really pushing it in regulation. They definitely did not make this one to write off for St. Clair. And I think they actually showed them a little bit that, look, if you're smart, you'll know that for your next map, you won't underestimate us. We can make you pay for playing ballsy on the side of St. Clair. And you love to see it. So again, I think this is going to be a good series, regardless of if it goes 2 or 3 maps. I just can't wait to get back into the next game, man.
Absolutely. Queens is gonna make St. Clair go the extra mile. The winner of map 1 is La La Land. St. Clair, right? It happened before. We're gonna go to a quick intermission before getting on into map number 2, Cafe. Sit tight. We will be right back in a moment. Going to get planted. Uniquely is almost got it. 2-2. Actually finds Sonic Canadian. No name finishes off as Bro. The diffuser planted. Bulbous finds Uniquely. Canadian finds actually the 1v1 scenario with the diffuser down. The big wrap coming in from Bulbous. TMU needs to get this one. He's gonna sneak up right behind him. Can he find him? He knows. He gets it, and Canadian finishes it off. Windsor walk away 2-0 tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
He's in piano.
Gridlock is in cigar. Gridlock in cigar.
Oh, I'm waiting to see that.
He was on piano. On piano. Oh, nice shot. Oh! Oh!
Taking care of open is for the taking, at least unless somebody comes in and tries to play.
Third time's a charm. There you go. Strike via post. Get that mirror window down. Helio ends up finding a second. But Helio finds a third. 4-2. Ladies and gentlemen, do we see the ace, the quad for Helio? Eyeballs the last. There it is. An ace in the pocket of Helio. Helio is back. TMU is back. We are getting closer, but it is still match point.
Windsor has not picked Monty once. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're in round 4 right now, and so far. I have not seen a single Monty pickup.
Yeah.
Are we, is it an us thing? Do we just like the Monty a lot? Uh-oh. Caught in the rotation hole. Actually, the rotation hole wasn't big enough for you. Uniquely, gonna end up getting the opening pick here of the round for you, Windsor.
And even though it's down to a 2v5, the positions they're in right now is so strong that it's gonna be able to get 3 kills! What is going on? Set up the jabs to watch flanks, so they can just get right in there and probably not even have to worry about CCTV or anything. Just get in there.
Crazy
And flank
flank.
that.
One,
One,
two,
flank,
three!
1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. Mod wants you in his room.
Holes from below inside. One's on the holes, one on the bird hose, one of the people on chassis. Look below you.
Where's last? Where's last?
Below you. Oh shit.
Oh wait, I didn't kill him?
Nice, bro.
On his cam. Still on his cam. Still on his cam right here. Another one's still on his cam. Off cam.
Oh my fucking god!
Lost his master.
Yo, this guy just hit a fucking clip, bro. Holy shit.
Hold on, let me. Oh my fucking god!
Yeah, idiot. So he's gotta watch out for that. Oh, nice on that Claymore. Gugger with a quick flick into Fountain. Takes down Otter, and he knows through the wall, and he sees it. That's unbelievable, and he gets the call out from his teammate. There's somebody's above hatch, and he makes the play for it. He drops it. Oh my god!
He gets the ace. What? I spoke too soon. That was.
30 seconds left to go. Diffuser going down. Of course it's a bait. Goes for the pre-fire. Doesn't end up finding it, but wraps. And Helio ends up getting the triple kill, tied up 1-1. But the HP bars would say otherwise. The tuber out full. The buck not at all. Down he goes. The buck ends up finding it. Helio getting another one. Getting the quad. And putting us 1 up for TMU in overtime.
Je sais pas si Georgian peuvent récupérer de ça. Non, oui, on l'a vu. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. No way, bro!
God, fine, cool.
What are we doing? Georgian! Wake up! Is this our... In there, like swimwear, Fico. Another pick. Arthur le volé. In. Oh, Fico. Ah, oh, Fico qui fait des wallbangs. C'est overachieving. Il est tellement bon. Il est tellement bon. Je veux l'arrêter. Watch me Bug, c'est le dernier. Et c'est là.
Un autre, c'est 0. C'est rock.
What a round. On peut pas le plan, on peut le bon. Ok. Big pig. Big pig. Flankade. Come on.
Oggs. Mr. Oggy.
What
can you do? He's right there on the other side of the wall. You better watch out.
Damn. On a troll? Baressa, Forky, wake up.
To win, to close this match out. Oh no. He knows she's there.
Oh, what the?
And this is it!
Are we gonna see an
Who's gonna
overtime?
win? We have... I think, oh,
We might.
you better get him!
What? Whoa! This is a boxing
Fico,
match.
get him! Come on, Fico! I think
Oh!
with him. Oh! Yeah, Fico. Oh, he's out of ammo.
Going to get planted. Uniquely is almost got it. 2-2. Actually finds Sonic. Canadian no name finishes off as Pro. The diffuser planted. Bulbous finds Uniquely. Canadian finds actually the 1v1 scenario with the diffuser down. The big rap coming in from Bulbous. TMU needs to get this one. He's gonna sneak up right behind him. Can he find him? He knows. He gets it, and Canadian finishes it off. Windsor walk away 2-0 tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Gridlock is in cigar. Gridlock in cigar.
I'm leaving cigar.
He was on piano. On piano. Oh, nice shot. Oh. Oh.
You're taking care of. Open is for the taking, at least unless somebody comes in and tries to play.
Third time's a charm. There you go. Strike via post. Get that mirror window down. Helio ends up finding a second. But Helio finds a third. 4-2. Ladies and gentlemen, do we see the ace, the quad for Helio? Eyeballs the last. There it is. An ace in the pocket of Helio. Helio is back. TMU is back. We are getting closer, but it is still match point.
Windsor has not picked Monty once. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, we're in round 4 right now, and so far. I have not seen a single Monty pickup.
Yeah.
Are we, is it an us thing? Do we just like the Monty a lot? Uh-oh. Caught in the rotation hole. Actually, the rotation hole wasn't big enough for you. Uniquely, gonna end up getting the opening pick here of the round for you, Windsor.
And even though it's down to a 2v5, the position they're in right now is so strong that it's gonna be able to get 3 kills! What is going on? Set up the air jabs to watch flanks so they can just get right in there and probably not even have to worry about CCTV or anything. Just get in there and flank that.
1, 2, 3!
3! Boom, boom, boom! Mod wants you in his room!
Holes from below in sight.
Hello and welcome on back to the Canadian Collegiate League. Rainbow Six Siege gamers and fans all out there. My name is Zach Vexel. Joining me here on the desk is Patrick for what has been an exciting set so far. But we are going into map 2. It's Cafe Dostoyevsky.
Right, I mean, if it was going to be anything to point out from that first game, it's that St. Clair is just running away with playing extremely aggressive on both sides of Siege. They don't care. Defense, we're sending full house. Offense, we're sending full house. So again, in a map like Cafe, yet another map that revolves so heavily around roamer presence, right? As both floors are honestly just filled with soft walls and soft floors. It's going to be interesting to see the probably, for the most part, I would assume a similar ban phase coming out. I don't think you want to leave the Ying on the table, but at the same time, you might want to ban the Deimos if you're on the side of Queens based off what you saw from St. Clair in game 1.
It's gonna be the Monty that gets removed on out of here by Queens. And yeah, I mean, I think we actually only saw the Monty once. We saw Blitz more than that, you know, in terms of the shield operators on the previous match. But, you know, this might be something that Queens knows about St. Clair, in this being St. Clair's map as well that they ended up picking. There goes the Ying. St. Clair could have removed that one themselves. You know, so we don't have the Monty, we don't have the Ying, so you're not going to be expecting that big old flash run in with the shield operator. I see. We're not going to expect the big flash run in with the shield operator go for the plant.
Wow,
but really Blitz is still a thing on the map. Azami gets removed on out of here. This is actually one that I kind of expected a little bit. You know, I feel like Azami has so much potential on this map, especially to just solo control like half the map. Yeah, like it's atrocious.
Yep. I mean, the reason why I'm surprised is because Terror is such a huge Azami player. I mean, on time-dependent defenders, you'll notice Terror from St. Clair dropping into Azami, Wamai. It's really like, that's why I'm really surprised, is because St. Clair are just willingly taking out one of their best operators on defense I'm assuming because they maybe think they can really just roll here on attack and won't have to put up that many rounds on the defensive side. And I really like the Mira ban out from Queens. Mira is a pretty good op on Cafe, right? So many different setups that you can use for her. And again, I think that especially when you have someone on St. Clair like Kinger, who absolutely loves to play Mira and can make some crazy plays off the back foot, it makes sense why Queens thinks, okay, if we can play this map without a Mira, and we know what we're doing there, let's make St. Clair on the flip side when the sides go have to adapt the way we did as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see. And honestly, I don't even blame Frogs with the amount of times we saw the Blitz coming out, picking the Orcs.
Yeah, I mean, knock down that shield operator, not to mention just having that ability to move around this vertical, such a vertical map. I mean, 3 different floors that you got to be wary of going around. You can vault up hatches. That's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to be honest. I don't see too many orcs as utilizing that part of the kit. It's more so, yeah, like you mentioned, I see shield operator. I run down shield operator. I hopefully knock them down and get the pick off before they end up shooting me with a random hip fire headshot from their pistol. Every time. Every time.
Right. I mean, the one thing I will say that I think orcs is very flawed. One of the big flaws with orcs is, yeah, you can go for the shield operator. There's no way. That almost hit. And no, it's going to be Disciple now on to Terror. The boss G on boss G violence. Are you kidding me? I mean, honestly, Terror was a pixel off from getting rid of Disciple on that window. You almost thought he had walls for a second. Not accusing, obviously. I'm just like, wow, that was so close. And then Disciple just goes and re-peeks it and takes Terror's head off. What a play early to start off the round for Queens. And, I mean, not a better operator that I could think of picking off early as the Dokkaebi.
Yeah, not having that information on such a, as we mentioned, roam-heavy map. Dokkaebi has just been so overwhelming on this kind of map, which is probably why we saw some of her nerfs come through and why they're trying to tone down this operator. I saw some really nasty proposals for what they were going to do to her, and I was like, please don't destroy her, you know? And instead they took a more passive route, and I'm happy that she's still very playable. But speaking of very playable, we still got half the round to go. It's 4-4. One pick both ways. Make that 2 as Frogs ends up knocking down Jocks.
Right, I mean, Frog's picking up right where he left off. He's going to be able to find Jocks, and now Sunday as well with a pick onto Kinger. It's a great job so far from Queens on the defensive side, but they need to stay disciplined. We've seen this almost every round in Skyscraper, where the Saints get down to a extreme man disadvantage, whether it be from 2 or 3, and somehow they've just been able to claw their way back in. Does the player know that they've seen him in piano, the pings, the Z pings going out? This is going to be a crazy job here from St. Clair, but no! Frogs able to hear the noises of the rappel from Swifted, beating him to the punch, and he gets yet another pick. A great job, and surely barring a caster curse, Queens have secured this first round.
Caster's curse. Nah, this is all Queens holding down the 3rd floor like an absolute fort. And, you know, maybe this is St. Clair also realizing, like, okay, you know, the 3rd floor is a very difficult take when you have such a very coordinated team. And let's be honest, watching that last map, Queens they are a coordinated team. They played very well. They took St. Clair to the wire. They were being absolutely aggressive with them. So there's no chance right now. Obviously, 15 seconds, 1v4. I wish you the best, Corey Rob. You might get a nice little funny run out, but we can see the diffuser from here. Make sure to wave to the camera while you go. Round number 1 goes in the pocket of Queens. Corey Rob, though, gonna pad the stats.
Right, I mean, he's also going to be padding that death stat as well, as he's going to be able to get picked off there from the Wamai. So, again, I do think from St. Clair, that was a little bit of an unhinged take. Everything kind of went by the wayside, and it didn't really work out too well for him. So, I think what Corey Rob, you know, was doing there, for those who don't know, he's not necessarily just baiting for kills. It's just more of the fact that they can just, be like, okay, that push, that take, just didn't work in any way, shape, or form. Let's basically take like a free tactical timeout on round 1 and discuss how we can do that better when the top floor comes back again.
Well, I tell you, one way to do it better is not let this Dokkaebi get picked right out of the gate. I think that is going to be essential for St. Clair. because it really felt like they were just, I mean, yeah, you have the man down, but that was your entire source of information in that previous run. I mean, yeah, you had a Grim, but let's be honest, with how mobile, Grim feels like more like, okay, we're going to close off this way, you know, we're going to know if they're pushing from a rotation here as we're pushing in. We're just going to zone off areas. It's not that global rotation that you, I'm sorry, global information that you really want and desire. And here we are now in round number 2, and we are seeing a more, I mean, we should see a more top-down approach coming in from St. Clair in this one.
Right, I mean, it's interesting because with the first floor bomb site, I'm really noticing here, we have no operators that can take advantage of the vertical play. I mean, look at the lineup right now, right? I mean, there's no Ram, no Buck, no Sledge, all of which are on the table.
This is just a go.
St. Clair, I mean, yeah, it seems like they're going to waste no time. I mean, I see the Finka trying to maybe see if she can roam clear up this Vert here, but I don't understand not being able to take Vert. St. Clair going for a direct take here is a little bit risky. You know, let's just see if it pays out for them.
I know when I was looking at the start of the round, they had things like the Amaru, the Ram, who could, you know, not only get up to the vertical stories, but also to tear open that floor and really get those kinds of lines of sights. To switch to this, you know, it just seems like, yeah, we want to just push it. We want to get aggressive, not as aggressive as we were looking with the, you know, blitz strategy in the previous map, but, you know, a controlled aggression, we could say, as they are marching straight through the front door of Bakery. 60 seconds off the clock.
Right, and I think that Queens is doing such a good job of just delaying this push. I mean, again, the Mew Jam are going to be able to stop the Selma charge until the Thatcher nade goes off. So, again, I really do like this angle from Swifted. I don't think people in Queens are thinking about that, but at the same time, why peek? Why peek down prep? There's no reason for it. You know they don't have anything to take the top. They haven't shown that yet, and with a minute 23, if the attack isn't even working on Vert yet, they're probably not going to be going to it at all. I'm pretty sure Queens already has this info relayed through cams and through sound, through pings. It's just a little bit of a weird one.
We can see how much Queens has rotated back to site. I don't think I really see anybody off-site. Actually, I don't think I actually see anyone off-site at all. St. Clair now pushing into the second floor, gonna get the vertical control, but we're down to that last 60 seconds here in round number 2. Yeah, you're closed in on site, but look at the HPs. Just look at the members who are still available from Queens. You have to push into a very frustrating team comp who are just all kind of bunkered down and chilling, waiting for you.
Right, I mean, the big question here is I wonder with the IQ, how many Valt cams are still up? And it's going to be Frogs who absolutely slices Swifted his head off. That's going to be an absolutely crucial play there. The Nomad gone, and now it's man advantage. Queens, they can just sit back. Jock's going to be down. Does he have a Finka Surge? No, he does not. Upstairs, it's going to be Sunday who finds the pick, and that's going to go untraded. With 15 seconds left, St. Clair, they need to force a push in, but what can be done? Kinger with a first pick, now picking down red. It's going to be Terror. The bomb going down. Are you kidding me? Terror with another 2v2. There's no way they get away with this. Terror with a triple to his name. 1 HP. Are you kidding me, St. Clair? Is the call out known? Can the quad happen? Yes, Terror! Find it, Terror! Absolutely! St. Clair! How did you pull that one off?
Okay, there's playing the 30-second meta. There's getting a quad in the 30-second meta. There's getting a quad in the 30-second meta with 1 HP. What was that about? How is nobody stopping that? How are you not just breathing, like glancing in the direction of Terror and just make it, oh, you know, that's it. Yeah, I fall over. I die. You know, it felt like really that's all it had to take, a leaf falling onto Terror to just put him into the grave, and nothing, absolutely nothing. Terror able to control every angle while the diffuser went down. That is going to even us on out. St. Clair on the board, and here we are now in round 3.
I know you can't like see me right now. So,
hands on the head.
I have my head in my hands right now. That has got to be so mentally shocking for the side of Queens. I mean, if I want someone to give me a screenshot of what that game looked like with 15 seconds left in the action phase. And then I want you to send me a screenshot of what the end result was. There is absolutely, that had to be an under, like, 2% chance of St. Clair winning that round. given the positioning, the health, who they had alive, the map control. They didn't have any vertical presence, and they still come away with it from just winning their gunfights.
Well, it seems like vertical might be the play this time around. We see picks like the Ram coming into play now. I guess St. Clair taking a step back, looking at the round like, yeah, we won, but was it as clean as we wanted it to be? And I think that's a really great adaptation to make on the fly, and that's where you start to separate teams from good to great. Those who can make those kind of changes, you know, we're not, oh, I'm going to play the ace every single round. I'm just saying that because we're on ace right now. I'm not going to play the same pick every single round, do the same thing every single time. You know, it's the adaptations that really set teams apart, and let me tell you right now, Disciple finding Swifted, pretty good adaptation for Queens from the last round.
Right, I mean, that's the way you want to start things off, but I just can't get out of my head the amount of times it's the same story, Zavexel. We are seeing, again, great job from Disciple, an absolutely crucial pick there. It's the IQ down. You would think, right, that with the utility left on the table, that's going to be so shocking. But again, Kinger with the next pick onto Disciple. St. Clair, no matter where they are, they always have a chance at winning the round. And I can't, it's crazy that I can't say that this round was over by the time the first two picks happened. It's just why we love this game of Rainbow Six Siege. Anything, and I mean anything can happen. I think we've seen that already this game.
Oh yeah, you mean like one person could just come out and get a ace or a quad even though they're the
on
only member
one
left
health.
on? Yeah, on 1 HP.
Oh man.
Straight up 1 HP in a dream halfway through the round, round number 3, and St. Clair closing in on the site, tearing open the floor, trying to gain that vertical control. I can't even say trying to gain that vertical control. They're gaining the vertical control, and they're seeing it if they could find a member of Queens who are quite bunkered down, I have to say.
Well, I mean, as they should be. I really like what Queens is doing here. They get the first two picks, right, on the Nomad, on the IQ, and that IQ is such a massive pick, because now there's no more comms that go out on goo mines, right? I mean, same with Wamai gadgets. It's a great job there from St. Clair to get a triple kill from Kinger. I was gonna say from Queens, who are doing a good job of holding, but again, it's time and time again. They're giving St. Clair these picks, and it's just so unfortunate. It's great intel from St. Clair to spot the Legion and code check. I mean, what is going on right now? You just can't predict a single round here.
Down goes blue. Corey Rob gets the pickup. Now it's that 3 versus 1 scenario. You know, you mentioned, oh, 2 members off the board for offense for St. Clair, and that it could be anyone's round still. Sure enough, St. Clair's like, okay, anyway, thanks for round number 3. I hope you enjoyed the lead while you had it. Now we are going to be 1 round up going into round number 4. Do we run back the kitchen site? No, we don't. Okay. I was going to say.
I mean, this just, again, first 2 picks go your way. It's a defensive 5v3. You're just draining clock. I don't understand how St. Clair is allowed to get away with this time and time again. They're finding picks, and when they find them in bundles. It's almost like you can't really blame Queens. You're double stacking there, potentially on defense, just in case a pick comes out. You can just trade it back and play man advantage. But you can't play man advantage when both of you end up dying to it. I mean, it's just stuff that you wouldn't think would be happening. I mean, the most, like, just percentage crazy plays from St. Clair. And it's just working out. I guess I can just call them hero plays. St. Clair is simply making hero plays, and it's what's really recapturing their, I guess, progress on attacking rounds that you would honestly think from surface value they would be completely out of.
It's very interesting, and I'm like sitting here quietly, I'm listening to you, but I'm like watching the prep phase come in from Queens. There were a lot of things I was like, why are they doing that? And then there were a lot of things I was looking, I was like, oh, that's why they're doing that. Okay. You know,
Yeah.
Really interesting setup here. One thing we don't see is, I believe we saw an Azami earlier on at the start back in round number 1. We don't see that one come. Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, Azami's banned.
That's why we talked about Azami. I was like, I know we talked about Azami. Okay. You know what? It's a day. It's a Monday.
Well, I mean, can we talk about the orcs? I mean, that's one of the biggest roaming threats right
That
now.
we
Just
talked
gone
about.
with 2:27 left. St. Clair doing a good job of just getting rid of the Orcs' presence. So not an operator they'll have to worry about. Yes, Disciple on the Vigil with that boss G. He's a force to be reckoned with. We'll see how St. Clair plays around it. Dokkaebi with a call in pocket. It'll be interesting to see what ground they take. Terror's just gonna walk right up. I mean, again, I don't understand how he gets away with it. Jocks with another pick as well. Disciple just barely. Did he hit that shot on the boss? Was that what the Dokkaebi? No, it was the Grim just barely missing that shot. I mean, that would have been absolutely amazing for Disciple.
That's what I was waiting for.
But he is going to find the impact from down below. A great job, Disciple. Can you make it happen? From the player on window. No, not quite. And now with the Wamai grimmed out, St. Clair, they do know about the positioning. So right now they can just take ground, play for a plant. And this is going to be so hard to come back from. Dancing around the staircase. It's going to be Corey who ends up finding the pick regardless. Or no, was that Swifthead? I don't remember. I don't think so. I think it was because the player was downed in Disciple. Might have been Swifted, but either way, a great job from a great job from St. Clair. I just, there's some mind-boggling situations here. How I can't really blame Queens. I just don't know how St. Clair are simply just, I guess they're just hitting their shots at the end of the day. Because I'm seeing how Queens is playing. They're stacking up well. I like Disciple on the roam down below. He was able to create space. It's just, I think, a couple of unfortunate scenarios that are just slightly falling in the way of St. Clair, and I think they're just getting the dealer's luck of the cards.
St. Clair absolutely taking advantage of every opportunity they can find, and it's gonna come down to, honestly, what feels like good positioning coming in from Queens, making sure that those opening picks are going in their favor instead of the opposite. And I'm wondering, you know, do you look for something cheeky yourself? Do you play it safe, play it collected? I mean, when we look back to, I want to say it was round 2, where we were all just bunkered down in kitchen, 5 versus 5, going into what felt like an eternity of nobody really dying, nobody really taking any damage, just whittling away at the utility and closing in on the site. Is that the right play? You know, after we've seen such aggression coming out of Queens, how should they be focusing on this next round?
Right, I mean, it's just so hard to call. I really think that Queens has done such a great job in the start of rounds. What, I guess, provokes that table to turn? Because we've seen that happen almost every round in Skyscraper and now in Cafe. You can't really criticize anything. I love the way Queens is starting out these rounds. I mean, if you say you don't, you're just simply not watching the game, right? They're doing almost everything right to begin, but they're just having problems when it comes to closing out.
Oh, you know, there's 3 minutes around. You gotta play all 3 minutes of those. It does seem like Disciple chilling in Bakery, seeing if they could find a cheeky pick. But take a look at this. The majority of St. Clair up on the roof, ready to just push themselves right on into sight. A little bit of a cheeky run out coming in from Disciple. Gotta respect it. That's kind of the aggression. That's the idea of the aggression we were looking for. Corey Robb, though, ends up going down to the drop. 2 members of Queens off the board. A nice 2-for-1 trade. Make it a 2-4 members. Okay, 3-1. Okay, in favor of St. Clair. And now, only member remaining is Disciple.
They have no idea.
Trying to get
They have no idea. They have no idea right now of Disciple's positioning. However, it is going to be Terror, who I'm assuming either got a call on it, maybe a drone. No, he might have just heard the sound. But I thought Disciple was absolutely in no man's land, and nobody had just a hint of a clue where he was. That was almost disastrous for the side of St. Clair. But
Maybe
Terror
it was
just
a
checks his
fortunate,
ears.
yeah.
Terror checks his ears, and I mean, regardless if it was on a comm from a drone or
he's playing
just
on
had a
night
better
mode.
headset. Look, I mean, Terror was able to pick it out, and I'd say honestly, I think it would have saved St. Clair potentially a game-changing pick, maybe even 2.
Exactly. I mean, you're able to get the 1 right there. Now the other 2 members are on edge. Do they have the diffuser? Can they get the plant down? You know, all these things start rushing into your head. All these questions start flowing in, and you're like, okay, what do we need to do to end up securing this? Here we are, round number 6. It's going to be the final round of defense for Queens, the final round of offense for St. Clair. And right now, they're gauging themselves to go into the half into defense on Cafe pretty nicely.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that round, again, you know, Queens gets the first pick. But I will say, that time, for the first time, we saw the round in the beginning actually fall the way of St. Clair within the first, like, minute, right? So that was a first.
It seems like they're getting cleaner. Like, as it's going, I gotta say.
It really does. I honestly, I think this is the problem as well, is if St. Clair can start having like good starts to rounds, already you got the Wamai at 40 health. I mean, I know it's not a pick, but again, it seems like they're a bit more composed, is I think the word I'm trying to look for in the start. And if they really start teeing off right now, with the composure coming into play, not getting risky to start out, they would have a better start than they currently have in a couple of these rounds. And right now, you got to give it to Disciple. A great job there on to Corey, a great pick. And that's such an essential operator in the Grim, going down first to the attack. You wonder, you've seen it happen before. If St. Clair's going to pull this one out, I don't know how they're going to do it. We'll have to see later in the round.
Disciple has been doing absolutely the best that they could, unfortunately falling off the board right there. Just trying to keep the aggression that Queens was giving us back in map number 1. Swifted going to find Sunday, though 2 members of the defense now off the board. That Wamai still sitting down at that 40% HP. Not very nice. Not a good feeling. We got half a round still to go. 4 members of St. Clair closing in on the site, closing in. I'm putting away the half in a very nice advantage position, but Frogs is going to find Jocks, absolutely bursting through the kitchen wall, and is going to get the pick, but gets traded on out by Terror.
Brandon, I mean, eventually this take from New Hatch is going to have to come through for St. Clair down to the Cigar side. You wonder how they're going to play it out. It's now going to be the Legion sitting in bathroom. They know, I guess, where the push kind of has to come from. They have an idea, especially with that piano window being popped. Now they definitely know on the side of Queens. With a minute left, Dokkaebi Call rings out, and that is going to give St. Clair ideal information on some of the positioning. Let's see how they play this one out. 3v2, the beeper goes off, and now they are aware of the position of Kinger, who has the diffuser as ace, playing around Cigar.
45 seconds, a slow push in coming from St. Clair. There's still 2 members of the defense that they need to keep an eye on, and when you're giving away one of your positions, it makes only 1 member of the defense. Blue off the board, the Legion is gone, and now all it comes down to is the 40 health Wamai. Chilling on site, does he get it? He does. Terror is gone, but there's the refrag. Swifted ends up finding Babriel, and St. Clair walk in, soar into the half. 5-1.
Sorry, the way he was just going in and out, I thought it was a potential one tap, and I would have said the disrespect is crazy there. No, Swifted playing an absolutely great round, gets the pick on New Hatch immediately to put St. Clair up to a 4v3 advantage, and after that, I really think what I love from St. Clair is they did something that they haven't done really all too much this series. They guess what? Slowed it down. They slowed it down, played with their intel. There was so long there where there were only 2 players remaining for Queens. And it was just because St. Clair was just using any util that they had, trying to get the positioning, using the Dokkaebi Call before they make a push in, right? I mean, it is basic things like that that are going to bag you rounds in the attack. But I like that St. Clair did it, and they did it well. They again, I like that they took their time there. And like you said before, I think we're just seeing St. Clair get cleaner and cleaner as the game goes on.
No, without a doubt, they are just really breaking down the nitty-gritty on things. They're making the correct changes, the adaptations that we were talking about, and I love to see it. We are getting very, very close to that match point. All St. Clair needs is 2 defensive rounds here on Cafe, and that is honestly not a tall order. Queens put up a good look back when all odds were against them on map number 1. Can they do it here? They're going to need to really force themselves in. We need that Queen's aggression that we saw so long ago. We need that to come on back. Right now, it seems like Disciple's doing his best to keep that going, but it's not enough. We need the Queen's collective to show up today.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that what's going to be extremely, at least something to extremely focus on this Queen's attack is, how does this glass come into play?
I was thinking that too.
I mean, how do you really use this? This is something that I'm very curious about, especially with the Jocks on the Warden. He counters out those smokes pretty well, but even then, the glass might have the advantage. It's actually just going to be a skylight drop, and it's just not going to work out for Queens. It's the double kill from the Nitro of Swifted. Again, 1 player down, but I just don't understand it. They try to meet the aggression, but it almost feels like they didn't pregame that one at all.
I like the idea, but
I mean, everything was being held.
absolutely, the Skylight was an interesting push. You know, I gotta be honest, it wasn't one that I was expecting, and maybe that was kind of the idea of let's try to rush in through Skylight and see if we can catch them off guard. Terror ends up finding one, and it comes down to the last. Terror finishes off Frogs, and that is another one on the board for St. Clair. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm correct. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just...
I almost did it again, yeah? I thought I did it again. Oh, we're good, we're good.
No, St. Clair doing a great job there as they move on to match point. Looking for the Brazil scoreline on the 7-1, if they can get it. Then happy days. Queens, I think, again, this is just simply, we are seeing Terror have a peak performance. Everybody from St. Clair is just stepping up. They're stepping up. But the difference is they're pulling, honestly, a little bit more than their own weight. All of the players are doing a great job of just playing their lives in the past couple of rounds. I haven't really seen too many careless encounters from St. Clair, which is crazy because I feel like that's been what's been happening the whole series is St. Clair just not playing for life. They're just saying, no, we're going to play aggressive and we're going to challenge you to these 50-50 gunfights on the defensive side, and we're going to make you beat us through gunfights. But now St. Clair have really just kind of put the foot down, and they've really slowed down their playstyle, minus Swifted going for what is, I'm assuming, going to be the second run out straight that we're about to see.
Did he not just run out from this door in the previous round too?
Yep, he did, and if he pulls
They're not going to expect it two from the same, yeah.
If he pulls this one off yet again, I mean, I just... It's going to be interesting. You really wonder. It's going to be something to watch, but what I want to talk about right now is the blitz on the side of Queens, and I think you were looking at that too with the Finka in tandem. It's going to be the surge that I'm assuming the blitz is just going to take ground. Yep, immediately runs right through Bakery, and now he's in main corner, running up the red stairs. Is that blitz trying to take as much ground as he possibly can? We'll see how this one.
He's almost at sight.
I was going to say he is really almost at sight. We'll see how this one fares for the blitz. And Queen, so far, a great job there. They're actually going to get... No! Terror! No way! Terror and Corey make that work out. How is Terror not full white off that flash?
Unbelievable. Now a 2 for 2. The Legion seen better days, but Terror putting on some good work right there. We're not even 60 seconds into the round, into match point, and things are going fast as Jox finds Frogs. Corey Rob finds Gabriel. Terror finishes off Blue, and ladies and gentlemen, that is it. St. Clair walk away with the night 2-0.
And I mean, again, like you said earlier, they just really started to clean things up on the defense. I mean, I say that, but again, it was the same story that we've seen in at least the Sky in the first part of this cafe. Queens had that 5v3 advantage, and then it just falls apart immediately. And we're wondering, well, hold on, that happened so quick. How does that even happen? There's not really an answer for it. I think Terror should have probably been full flash from that blitz. Just unlucky.
It's called being built different, Patrick. Okay. And Terror is the terror of Queens today, right there. At least I could say on Cafe anyway. Really showing, I gotta say, St. Clair's really just showing why this is one of their preferred maps, why they ended up picking this map. 7-1. What a finish coming in from St. Clair. And, you know, yeah, I said it, you said it, we've been going back and forth on it. It just felt like they were cleaning up as they were going. You know, right away they're coming out back on map number 1, and there were some hiccups, and Queens was getting aggressive, and they were being able to punish St. Clair for their aggression. But let's just flip the script. Let's turn that around, and St. Clair just, I guess, you know, we can say, proving why they are the number 1 seed now, 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that what happened in that series is just the accumulation of mental chalk on the side of Queens, right? They get their map of Skyscraper pulled out from under the rug, and they didn't have that confidence going back into Cafe. I think it allowed St. Clair to just kind of eventually run away with things. But even then, like, I'm scratching my head at some of these answers and some of these statements I'm putting out, because you cannot ignore the fact that Queens looked really, really good in the start of almost all of these rounds. I mean, I'm thinking right now, we're gonna pull up, right, like the entry stats when we look back at this, right? Or at least when I break down this VOD later, I'm gonna be looking at like the entries. And I want to say, like, I can only remember one round where St. Clair gets that first pick. Everything else looked like it was all headed Queen's way. I mean, hell, we were getting 5v2s. And somehow
Yes.
St. Clair are able to claw their way back into it time and time again. I think it just shows the mental resilience on the side of St. Clair. And the fact that when you're talking about a game like Rainbow Six Siege, look, sometimes I make some predetermined statements, but the round's never over until it's over. And that's, I think, the lesson that we all learned today. If not all of us already, then me, definitely.
Discipline. You know, at the end of the day, it's discipline in the win, discipline in the loss, that kind of thing. And discipline when you're up against 5 members and you got to get the ace. And that's where it really comes down to. And let me tell you, St. Clair showed some discipline today. Coming into these, I can't even say that with a straight face. They were running out on them. I can't say that with a straight face. Come on. No, they looked really great. They played collective, and you know, it's gonna come down to Queens out. You know, we had great aggression. Build off that. I want to see more of that from Queens. I cannot wait to see Queens and see how they grow the next time they show up on here on cast. But I'm afraid, Patrick, that's gonna do it for us tonight. So thank you all very much coming on out here to the Canadian Collegiate League. Seeing St. Clair, the #1 seed, hold their spot against Queens Gaels here in week number 4. A huge thank you once more. And until next time, you all have yourselves a good night.